Hi, I'm John Skinner and welcome to our continuing series, Internal Emigres. Now today I've got a dear friend of mine with us, Alan Andrews, and in the past we've joked about New Monasticism America being a little bit like the New Romantics and New Monasticism Europe being like rock and roll. Well, Alan Andrews is one of the rock and roll stars and fathers of the new monastic movement in Europe. So we've got Alan today and I'm dead pleased to have him here because the poor lad's been ill and he's fighting a big illness at the minute, but because he's a fighter and he's a rock and roller, then he'll keep going and he won't give up. Is that true?
That's true.
That's true, okay. Now you look like a bit of an alien at the minute, Alan.
Absolutely.
Is that the illness?
Well, somebody suggests I look like an extra from Star Wars. I didn't go into detail, but yeah.
Honestly, this lad, he's the trendiest lad I know, right? And he turned up at a friend's house the other day with his walking stick and his designer cap and his clothes on, right? And honestly, I was still angry with him. I thought even when he's ill, he looks good. All right, Alan, tell our viewers when we first met, because it's a bit interesting.
Well, yeah, I think it was about 78, wasn't it? And I was involved with a group of Christians down in Coventry, or Coventry Christian Fellowship, and some of the leaders there were a little bit concerned with me that I was perhaps visiting the pub more than I should.
Yeah,
and,
I remember.
Yeah, and they suggested that you might have a better handle on these things than they did, so recommended that you got alongside me and sorted me out.
Yeah.
So I think we started from there, really.
It did. Now I can remember going down to see the elders, and I went down very early in the morning, and we had a meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was one of these high-powered prayer meetings, and I remembered one of the partners of one of the elders was running around the room rebuking all kinds of spirits. And I remember saying to this person, I won't say if they're male or female, would you please sit down because I'm trying to concentrate. And I remember this person went absolutely ballistic. And the sum total of it is, by the time we'd finished that day with the elders, we discovered that perhaps they had more problems than Alan. But never mind, Alan came up to Berwick, and we decided to go to our counselling class, which was at the local pub.
It was well attended. I've never been that far north, by the way, so
that's right, that's right.
Fascinating.
I mean, Alan and I became friends. I never wanted to have him as, he's my person I'm counselling, and I was too rock and roll anyway for to do that, but...
Well, I'll be obvious. I mean, I felt that was the case for a while, and I suppose that's almost inevitable. Yeah,
but we became good friends. We're great friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now that was in '78, and over the years we kept in touch. You came to the I Am Among You as One Who Serves at Lincoln in 1980, I think that was.
Yeah, I remember that. Again, I'd never been to Lincoln before, so that was good.
Right, I was at the theological college, studying for the priesthood. Yeah. I remember the dean of Lincoln. We used to call him Sexy Rexy. I hope he forgives us for that, because he used to have a particular way he used to dance, and we had a fantastic day. I remember, where we looked at basically the rules of leadership. If you're going to lead people, you don't dominate people. You get alongside and serve as Jesus did. But there was a few things that kept us together until the big deal thing. You moved up with your family from Nuneaton in 1984. What made you do that then?
Well, I think we just felt a growing connection with yourselves and the group of people. That by then we'd met other people from around Northumberland, although the focus at that time I think was Aycliffe, because you were living in Aycliffe, and we just felt, maybe this was the Lord, and you'd never be 100% sure, but we were all, my family at the time was happy to make that move. And I remember Julie was the one who was a little bit reluctant. That's one my oldest daughter.
How many kids did you have?
5.
5 kids, that's right. You should have got a telly, you know. I mean, you had 5 kids. We had 4 kids. Linda and I had 4 kids.
So yeah, well, we moved up, and with a lot of help.
Yeah.
From the people currently in Aycliffe.
Yeah. Now Linda and I were in trouble with the church at that point. We won't say why, but it wasn't anything that we'd done, and I'd served as a parish priest in Aycliffe, and we'd had to leave, and you moved up and we started a little community. There was Linda and I and our 4 kids, you and Penny and your 5 kids, Chris and Sandra, their 3 kids.
Yeah.
We just discussed it in a minute. Elaine Pounder,
Yeah.
who was a single girl, and Graham,
Sandra
and Chris, Graham and Lizelle.
Yeah. Okay.
Now what we determined at the time is we weren't going to be a church. There was enough churches in Aycliffe, for goodness sake. Everybody was starting churches. That we tried to form a little community, and we called ourselves, can you remember?
Heart Cry.
Heart Cry, that's
yeah.
it.
Okay.
We didn't know the Salvation Army magazine was called War Cry, but we called ourselves Heart Cry. Now, key to what was happening at that time was something called Easter workshops, and Andy and Linda and I from 1979 onwards had a Easter workshop that we held every year in Northumberland somewhere, but we always went on Holy Island. Now we tell that story elsewhere on this site. I don't want to go into that now, but in 1984-85 a big change came. It was a really creative time, and we started at that in 1984 the workshop at Cramlington.
Yeah.
Now this was a first for us because we started mixing with the Catholics.
Yes.
Can you remember what was her name? Blonde girl. He is terrible. Terry Daly.
Terry Daly.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yes, I remember those times.
And can you remember being at the priest's house when you just got up and started singing?
Well, I can't remember just getting up and starting singing.
You did?
But I can remember being there. And again, this was all new ground for me because I'd become a Christian a number of years before that, but in a very Pentecostal kind of background. And I was, you don't do Catholics.
No.
You know.
Okay.
So, you know, this was new for me, but clearly, you know, we were, you know, doesn't matter, you know, whatever the flavour, we were all searching for something. Yeah.
I think it's important for people to remember when you go back to the 70s and 80s, there was still a big divide in the denominations. I mean, it was massive. And it was the renewal movement in the 70s that began to break that down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know when we got together with Terry, although Terry'd been involved in the renewal movement, she was a bit shy about contacting other communities, and so were the people around her. So this was a big deal thing. For Linda and I, we'd had more contact, more barriers had been broken down. But this was pretty new, wasn't it? But we were actually at the priest's house when you sang one of the songs that you'd written, The King is Among Us.
Yeah, okay, I remember the song, but I certainly can't remember getting up and singing it.
No, well that's just because you're getting old.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe the chemo.
I've always been the same.
That's it. It may be the chemo as well.
Let's just burn that.
Blasting a few shots out. Let's just go to that now and let's listen to some of The King is Among Us.